Okay. My name's Michelle Kovac, and I'm going to try and keep this as brief as possible. All I ask in return is that you listen and actually hear what I have to say. My daughter had been a student of Pittston area for 8 years. There was only 1 year out of those 8 years that she was not bullied in some way by either a teacher or a student. Mostly it was by other students. My husband and I did all the right things as required by the student handbook and policies of the school. Whenever we met with the vice principal or teacher, we were told numerous times, girls will be girls, this is when the cattiness begins between the girls, or give it time and the situation will calm down. Sadly, the situation did not calm down. It got worse, a lot worse. There's endless examples that I could give you, but there's two that really jump out at me when I remember her time in this school district. The first is when a teacher told Kaylee to stop raising her hand in class. She said to my daughter, Kaylee, you can put your hand down and stop raising your hand so much. We all know you know the answer. My daughter was humiliated in front of the entire class and never raised her hand again in that class. If I could let that teacher know how she began to extinguish the fire and passion my daughter had for learning in her, I'm nervous. I made sure that fire did not go out, that her passion for knowledge wasn't wiped out by one teacher's careless verbal assault and public humiliation in front of Kaylee's peers. What that teacher did do was give the green light to the other students in that class to treat Kaylee in this disrespectful and malicious manner. The second incident is the reason why I'm here today. In 7th grade, my daughter was physically attacked by another student. She was clotheslined into a metal door. She hit her head and her back. She then fell to the ground, hit her head, hit her back, and hit her neck. We kept her home the next day because obviously she was sore. We also wanted to have a meeting with Mr. Booth, and we set up an emergency meeting with Mr. Booth because her attacks became physical. Meeting with Mr. Booth could not have been a pleasant experience for Mr. Booth, and I will own up to that. When it's my family and my daughter, the mama bear is going to come out. I placed that experience on Mr. Booth. Had he not lied, tried to cover up the incident, and dealt with it in accordance to the anti-bullying policies of the school as outlined in the student handbook, I more than likely would not have flown off the handle. The excuse we received was that the other student was playing Red Rover. That's not what happened. The student had been in Mr. Booth's office numerous times for bullying other children, acting out in class, and mouthing off to teachers. She had a negative history as far as discipline, and Mr. Booth chose to accept her lie, that she was playing Red Rover with my daughter. Unfortunately for my daughter, she had no idea she was playing that game. Kaylee was attacked in front of a teacher who turned her back as the attack was occurring. Several students volunteered to come forward to speak with Mr. Booth and tell him exactly what they saw and what they heard. Mr. Booth declined to speak to these students. I took it upon myself to speak to 2 of these students. What they told me was that they heard a loud boom. Then they saw my daughter laying on the ground with her attacker standing over her, laughing at her, and bragging to her friends about what she had done to Kaylee, and laughing about it again. According to the student handbook, a physical attack warrants suspension and charges filed against the student. None of that happened. Kaylee was forced to come face to face with her attacker after the student was told by Mr. Booth to stay away from Kaylee. That was the day my husband and I decided Pittston area was not a safe place for our daughter or any other student, and that we needed to pull her out, which we did. She's safe now, and in the end, that's what mattered to us. But then the bullying reached a level that never should have happened. It never should have happened because my husband, my daughter, and I, along with numerous parents, voiced concerns and brought it to the administration's attention that the bullying was out of control. I questioned those in power why the rules weren't being enforced. I asked how could I send my daughter to a school where one day I might receive a phone call that she had a broken nose, a black eye, a broken arm, or a broken leg. I never received an answer that put my mind at ease, and more importantly, helped my daughter feel safe when she walked through those school doors every day. I have nothing to gain by being here. My daughter's safe, and my husband and I can relax about her safety and focus on her future. Many people have heard me say this, but it's the best analogy I can think of. The Titanic was going down, and I had 15 children with me, my daughter being one of them. I grabbed my daughter, and I took her away, and I left 14 helpless children behind. I'm coming back to save those children. It eats at me every day that I left them behind. I should have made a lot of noise when this happened. That was my opportunity, and I focused on my daughter, which is understandable, but once it settled down, I should have been all over the media with this, because it's not right. What happened to her was not right. I explained to my daughter that her bully probably already had her replacement picked out and is probably bullying this child now. My question to the board is, when will the policies on bullying be fully enforced? How many more children will have to be assaulted, harassed, and attacked before someone in a position of authority says, enough? How could you have t-shirts printed that say, got bullies? We don't, when you know that's a lie. Those shirts were a slap in the face to every student that is being, has been, or will be bullied in this school district. Sorry. You can no longer bury your head in the sand and ignore the problem. There is a problem, and anti-bullying posters and t-shirts will not stop it. Enforcing your own code of conduct is the only thing that will begin to stop the nightmare some of these children endure every single day silently because very few members of the staff take it seriously and the school board appears to choose to ignore the problem. As I've stated, I have nothing to gain by speaking out. But if the children who are still here and the parents that worry about their child's safety or retribution if they do speak up can have their minds put at ease because I wasn't intimidated by anyone to speak up and tell the truth, then I'll be the voice of those children and those parents so they can reap the benefits without the fears. In closing, a wise man once said, human progress is neither automatic nor inevitable. Every step toward the goal of justice requires sacrifice, suffering, and struggle. The tireless exertions and passionate concern of dedicated individuals. That man was Martin Luther King Jr., and I am prepared to take every step at any cost to ensure no child will ever be bullied in this district again to the point that suicide is the only out they can find. I will go through the sacrifice, the struggle, and use my passion for the safety of the bullied children as my source of energy, to bring them the justice and put their minds at ease. I only ask that you reflect on that quote and think of your own children, nieces, nephews, or grandchildren. Would you want it any other way if you were in the shoes of these parents and children? Wouldn't you want someone like me standing behind you and your children telling you, I will help you get through this, I've got your back, I'll never give up on you, and I will fight for you. I intend on seeing this through. I can only hope the school board is as determined and fed up as I am with the lunatics running the asylum. It's time to take the school back and bring a sense of pride to these children when asked, where do you go to school? And they can proudly answer, Pittston area. Thank you for your time.